Hello and welcome to the Barefoot Revolution podcast. We are here to do a special episode for regarding something special happening at Barcelona, something strange happening at Barcelona. We call it the Barcelona Messi Messi show. Chumpy and JT will explain you guys what actually is happening and how the peak Barcelona team has changed into a shit Barcelona right now.
I think interesting choice of words. Special, strange, shit, all starting with S. But that reminds me, completely unrelated, but a big shout out to one of my very close friends, Sasha, who requested us to do this episode. Who's one of the best basketball players I've ever seen in my life, and who's a tennis fan. So happy belated birthday as well, Sasha. We wanted to wish you, and hopefully this episode makes sense. We'll try to at least. So, talking about the Barca mess, I think the context is that the current Barca president, or the president who just resigned, Josep Maria Bartomeu, was under a lot of flack for various things he has done over his tenure. So before we get to the issue itself, I think it's important to know how Barca function, because unless we know that, we won't be able to understand the crux of it. So the way Barca function is very difficult to the way some of the English clubs function, right? Because in the English clubs like Chelsea, Manchester United, you have an owner who pretty much owns the club, and these owners appoint CEOs or COOs. Like the Glazers have United, and they've appointed Ed Woodward as the CEO. Barca is completely different. It's a democratic club which is run by the fans. The way it works is paid members. So I think to be a Barca member, you have to pay about $150 every year. And once you pay that, you become a voting member. So effectively, what happens every 6 years, they have elections to elect a president of the club, just like you would have in any democracy. It's the US elections today. So it's a very similar concept where people come in, vote for the president every 6 years. So it's a democracy. So that's how Barca function as a club. Now, this is where it all starts, right? So the democracy has its pros and cons. Pros is that Barca is a completely different club and embodies everything that's good about football, grassroots football, because it's the fans who have a say. If Manchester United were to screw up like they're doing now, the fans don't have much of a say. I mean, they could boycott games and they could do various different things, a protest, but United have 1 billion fans. So even if 50,000 fans don't come to the stadiums, some other 50,000 as tourists will come in. So it doesn't harm them as much. When in Barcelona, it is a democracy. So you might lose an election if you don't perform well. Now, the problem with the democracy is it's a 6 year short term thinking. Any president who walks in, it's very difficult for them to think long term, because all they want to do is make some short term moves and make sure they get re elected again. And so that's how Barca is structured. And now coming to the issue itself, this is huge outcry about the current or the previous Barca president who just resigned, Josep Maria Bartomeu, because of certain things that he has done in his tenure. So we'll start with the most obvious things, and something that all of us have seen in the recent past, wherein his massive fallout with Leo Messi, who is an absolute club legend. I mean, you can't think of anyone else who symbolizes Barca as much as Messi does. And it was an absolute mess the way the whole Messi saga was handled, wherein Barca lost 8-2 to Bayern, and Vivek will tell us about the previous bad results they've had in the Champions League, but they lost 8-2 to Bayern, and Messi wanted to leave the club, and he was always against Bartomeu, but he wanted to leave the club and he wasn't allowed to do so, and he was legally threatened that there is no legal provision for him to leave the club, and they found all sorts of loopholes that I think JT will explain later. And to do that to a player of Messi's caliber and who's given so much to the club, not allowing him to leave when he really wanted to, and even if you're not allowing him to leave, treating him that way, threatening him legally, that's disastrous. And that's one of the few reasons that he had to eventually resign. But I think that's a very important reason. I think JD can talk more about the Messi saga, and Tivu can talk about the results that have gone wrong.
Right. So, yeah, right. So the whole thing actually probably started when Bartomeu actually hired a social media team to, improve his image uh, with the fans. And in turn, what they did was they started thrashing the current Barca players. And amongst those players was Messi. So they wrote something against Messi's parents, and that is where the whole thing started. Um, After that, coming to the current situation where the whole saga began, it was when Messi came out and said that he had decided to leave the club, and he had informed the club president that he wanted to leave at the end of the season. But since the season was postponed due to the whole COVID situation, the uh, league got postponed, and according to his contract, he was supposed to uh, inform uh, inform the president that he would be leaving the club by probably end of May. But since the season got postponed, he informed it much later, and uh, the club cited that as a legality in his contract to deny him the transfer. So if he had informed them earlier, he would have been able to move out of the club um,
The legal hassle, basically.
without the
Without any
legal hassle
hassle.
and the buyout clause that he has, which is way too much for any club to pay for.
Exactly.
So that is where the whole thing went wrong, and finally Messi had to uh, come out and say that he won't be able to move out of the club and that he'll be staying at Barca for another year. But then everyone knew that he was unhappy, and apart from that, there were also a lot of tussle between the sporting director at Barca, Eric Abidal, and Messi, wherein Eric Abidal um, had come out and said that the players had to take responsibility for the sacking of one of the managers that Barca had sacked. And since Messi has such an influence in the Barca team, a lot of questions were raised if that was Messi. And Messi was one of the players who forced the sacking of their manager. So it all then Messi came out and clarified that, and that is how it began. So there were a lot of issues due to which the whole thing got very dirty.
Yeah. I think it all
Actually,
started. The whole Messi thing started with the selling of Neymar, and it's a very very important sort of era, very defining era in Bartomeo's presidency, because the year that he stepped in, and Tivu, correct me if I'm wrong, they actually won the Champions League. They won the treble under Luis
they
Enrique.
won the Continental treble.
They won
They
the
won the
continental
Continental.
treble, and people were going gaga over Messi, Suarez, Neymar. I mean, at that point of time, we used to always have duos in football, and suddenly it became a trio, and now you see all of these trios. But that's where it all started, right? BBC, MSN. um, and then what happened is, like, it completely shattered when that whole Neymar saga happened, when PSG bought Neymar for, they activated his buyout clause, bought him for 222 million. That's when the fallout happened between Messi and Bartomeu, because Messi had a problem with the sale, because Barca were a little aging by then, because Iniesta was going to leave, Xavi was going to retire, and so why sell the next best superstar to Messi? Like, and then he had a problem with Bartomeu, and he sensed there that the club was actually going down instead of keeping and retaining the best players. But in the past, Barca would have never done that. So that was a defining moment in his presidency. And due to the selling of Neymar, what eventually transpired was poor performances in the Champions League. Tigu, do you want to just share that stat about how
Yeah, yeah,
poor they
yeah.
are?
So they lost in the quarterfinals three consecutive 15-16 season against Atletico, 16-17 against Juve. Then they let Roma do a comeback, an epic comeback in the 17-18 season. And then 18-19, the Trent quick corner ended everything for Messi. So that was the 18-19 season. And then 19-20, we all know what happened.
The A2 demolition. And to be quite honest, it wasn't that Barca were not winning. They won the league, I think, 4 years in a row straight, and they won the Copa del Rey a couple of times. It's not that Barca were not winning trophies, but it's the prominence of the Champions League. Because in Spain, it's almost like a two-party system where it's either Real or Barca. So the league doesn't hold as much value as the Champions League does, because that's continental glory. And that he let that slip away. And that's where the rift became, that's what his presidency has been judged on, even though he's won so much. And I think one of the big reasons was the financial decision making. Um, the kind of money that he spent on players is ridiculous. They got 230 million for Neymar. Like, can you imagine 230 million? Like, Ajax have spent that much money since I think World War on players, and they spend that on one. It's ridiculous. They spend that on Philippe Coutinho, that money that they got on Pipe Coutinho and Ousmane Dembele, and they spent 300 million for those two players potentially. And the best performance that Coutinho has had is actually against Barcelona when he came back on loan from Bayern and scored that goal in the Champions League semi-final. And Ousmane Dembele have been injured throughout. Really shoddy dealings. And fine, you would understand that two players didn't work out, happens in football. But if you look at the trend of the players that he brought in, it's ridiculous. It's all short-term stopgap. He got an Andre Gomez for 55 million, and he sold Gomez to Everton for 22 million. He bought Malcolm for 40 million, who has played 6 games in his entire Barca career to date. He got an Arda Turan. When Barca were going through all of that, they had a transfer ban. He bought an Arda Turan who couldn't play for the first 6 months for 41 million, later sold for free. He got an Alexis Vidal for 22 million, who returned back to Sevilla for 8 million. Bought Griezmann for 120 million. An aging Miralem Pjanic who had a shit season for Juventus for 60 million. I mean, ridiculous transfers. And now what's ended up happening is they've got this huge wage bill, which is about $600 million. Like, imagine a wage bill of $600 million. And they have to borrow from the bank to pay wages to their players. So he just completely destroyed them financially. Their revenues went up. They were the first club to touch the $1 billion revenue mark. But doesn't matter, right? If you have to shell out 600 million just on wages. So he completely destabilized the club from a financial point of view. That was another big blunder.
And in all this, the La Masia actually took a backstage.
Exactly. I think that's the most important point.
Right.
Yeah, JT, sorry.
Right. So, the president, a couple of presidents before Laporte, I think he was his successful reign was mainly because he brought in a lot of players from La Masia. I think Messi, Iniesta, Xavi, all of them came into the Barcelona team during his reign.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he got managers like Pep who just transformed the Barcelona team into world champions. They were just playing wonderfully. They won everything that was possible for a club to win, and they were just playing wonderfully. It was not that his presidency was without its fault, but then he made transfers. He brought in players or managers that would help the club in turn in the long term. But with Bartomeu, as Vinayak mentioned, every signing that was made was extremely short term, extremely short sighted, and you can see that it has not benefited Barcelona at all. Right now, they're playing like a mediocre team. They I don't think they have been favorites to win the Champions League in quite some time. So that's the level that they've come down to. And right now in this season, I don't think they're even favorites to even win the La Liga. So
absolutely not.
that's just horrific.
And then talking about the La Masia, when Barca won the 2011 Champions League, 7 of its starters were from the La Masia. And when Spain won that World Cup, the famous World Cup in 2010, eight in the team were from that same academy. From there, they have produced just one notable player, Ansu Fati, who's still super young. Like, to judge him on his current performances is not doing him justice. But it's ridiculous how how football changes in these short cycles. Like, 6 years, and like suddenly Barca are, like, it looks all gloom and doom for them. But thankfully he resigned. He resigned not because he wanted to. He actually claimed that he didn't want to resign when Barca lost 8-2 because the club would be destabilized. So he made sure Messi stays in the club, which is true. But he might have completely ruined Barca's relationship with Messi, judging by the form that he's currently displaying this season. And he wanted to provide some sort of a financial baseline for the club. And his idea of providing a financial baseline is he actually agreed to join the European Super League. And that makes no sense because that's a hypothetical idea. How is he securing the club financially by signing to that league? And so his competitors, which involves Laporte, who was a very successful ex Barca president, they actually bought in a no confidence motion against him, and so he was voted. He was almost voted out by the public, so he didn't voluntarily resign. But that's the mess at Barcelona. Yeah,
So after the mess, we need to do the rebuild. They need to do the rebuild.
exactly.
So will it be like the AC Milan rebuild, or will it be like the Liverpool rebuild which Klopp did?
I, I think AC Milan is still rebuilding. To be quite
They're
honest,
still rebuilding. Yeah, they
they're
are
still,
still rebuilding.
they're still
Zlatan is
rebuilding.
still scoring for them
Zlatan,
10 years
Zlatan,
later.
like imagine depending on a 39-year-old, no matter who he is, right? Like that shows. I mean, they're top of the Serie A, but they've not been playing breathtaking football. It's just Zlatan has been extremely. But like leaving AC Milan aside, I think AC Milan had a slightly different problem wherein Serie A faced a lot of financial issues, and AC Milan was actually owned by the Prime Minister of Italy, and then he resigned. He actually not resigned. He got like he had corruption cases against him, and so they had this huge financial issue, which Barca don't have. They have billions of fans who are going to stay loyal, who are going to keep paying for the merchandise. So no matter how devastating their cost structure is, they will find a way around it. But it'll probably be like a Liverpoolian, resurrection wherein they need someone like a Klopp to come in because they've lost their identity. One of the reasons for the La Masia's decline is that the first team have no identity now. So where do you fit in these players? It was almost plug and play before. So but now you can't just fit in these players. So it will take someone like a Klopp coming in, buying sensibly, and rebuilding that way. I just don't see that happening in the next 3 to 4 years. It's going to be a long term rebuild, unfortunately.
Definitely, it definitely is going to take some time for them to rebuild. It definitely cannot be like a quick fix or a short term goal that Bartimon tried to do. It has to be a slow and steady process wherein they build a strong foundation, get in players from the La Masia, get its mojo back, and then build it from there. And you never know, the one of the presidents who is trying to be who is one of the contenders to be the president of the club. He said he might bring Pep back. So never know. That'll be a very interesting uh, manager choice for Barcelona.
Yeah, but I don't think Pep is the kind of person who'll wait for the La Masia academy products to grow, become good footballers. He's going to spend billions and he's going to get players in, and Barca don't have the financial stability to do that. Um, and I think yeah, it's going to take time. It's going to take time primarily because, um, I mean, imagine the pressure on the new president coming in, right? And Barca is not a club who can finish seventh in the league and the coach will still remain. So they'll have to go through a lot of iterations and finding the right person for the job, and it's going to get messy. But it shows you the importance of having a succession plan, right? And
Right.
not many teams in football have a succession plan. I mean, you could count a handful. Like Liverpool had this whole brilliant team and they completely fell apart. United is still rebuilding after Ferguson. They've not been able to get back to where they were. AC Milan, Inter Milan, all declined. Um, and the only team I could think of with a succession plan is Bayern, wherein they snapped their finger and they replaced, Ribery. And it's incredible how they did that. But apart from that, it doesn't seem to be like in football. I don't think succession plans are a thing. I think we should be looking at clubs like Leeds and Atalanta or even Midtjylland to seek innovative football, which doesn't rely on big players and who are sustainable. But yeah, it's interesting what's happening to football and the importance of a succession plan.
Definitely, the next club president is definitely going to be under tremendous pressure. He could very well be one of the presidents who under whose reign Messi leaves the club.
Exactly.
So that's just going to be a lot of pressure.
Okay, that's it, guys. This was perhaps the best discussion we have had on this podcast.
Self-proclaimed.
So, so thank you so much for all the explanation. See you all soon for the Champions League review and the Premier League recaps.
Absolutely. Like, subscribe, guys. We want to hit 1 million. It's a dream, but someday we'll get there. Indians can talk football. Let's prove it.
We have our succession plan ready.
Yeah.
Okay,
guys.
guys. Bye bye.
Bye.
Thank you.